Welcome to the Library of Living History, a Hoff Family Arts Foundation, Inc. podcast. This podcast is held live on every fourth Friday of every month, except for the ones towards the end of the year. If you want to keep up to date on when and where we're going to be recording, please take a look at our socials, Hoff, H-A-A-F, Family Arts, on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions or want to learn more about the other programs we are doing, feel free to give us an email at Hoff, spelled the same way, familyarts@gmail.com. If you are new to our podcast, welcome. We just wanted to let you know before you begin that we are not going to be censoring any of our guests. We want to make sure that the Library of Living History reflects an accurate account of the lived experiences of those of us in Beverly City and its surrounding areas. So please be mindful of listening ears, and please enjoy the show.
All right, everyone. Welcome, everyone here. President, thank you all so much for coming to our Library of Living History. I am Anthony Kornatzer, but please feel free to call me Tony. We co-host ourselves, the Hall Family Arts Foundation Incorporated, with the Beverly Free Library to bring this event here tonight. And tonight is a really exciting night, too, as well, if you couldn't tell, because we have members of the the Riverfront Historical Society. I got Beverly on the brain, as is. And if folks here tonight, if you could just introduce yourselves real quick.
Bob Loudon.
Right?
Charlene Rogers.
Teresa Loudon.
Very nice to meet for all of you to come by, and thank you so much for being here tonight. And
Members too.
oh, I am so sorry too. Yeah, please.
I'm Noreen Toner, Stefano.
Kenny Stefano.
Ray Regolis.
Gotcha.
There's one here.
And there's one over there, Maggie.
Oh, okay. And Maggie, sorry.
Gotcha.
Pretending to be in the audience.
Wonderful. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Thank you so much. And so, with that being said, without further ado, folks, particularly amongst you main three or anyone here from the Historical Society, feel free to talk about your work with the society and how it correlates with all our history here in town and with our respective riverbank towns.
All right. Okay, everybody. Riverfront Historical Society was founded in 1976 during the bicentennial. And it was part of this bicentennial celebration in here. I would like to tell you a lot more detail about that, but I wasn't a member then. I do know that they worked a lot. They started collecting items. They started really focusing on Beverly history. They collected and studied and preserved artifacts and items for the towns. They were incorporated in 1982, and we are still a 501c3. We still continue to do that work. If you've been to the museum, you can tell that we got a little over-enthusiastic about collecting artifacts. In the beginning, they focused on the Cooper Meeting House and did a lot of work to restore that. There were things like strawberry festivals and things like that. But by 2002, the membership had dwindled down to only 5 members, and they really weren't doing much of anything. And that is when my cousin, Dennis Rogers, decided it was time to revitalize it. And he called a bunch of people together. 3 people. It was
Three
down to
people went and sat on the steps of Coopertown. Dennis, Carol, Donahue, and Betty Seaver. And outside on the steps, they decided we're going to start again.
Now, at that point, they didn't have a place to meet. They didn't have keys to the meeting house. The first meeting I ever went to was out at the school in Edgewater Park.
We met out there.
And
I'm sorry.
the reason I came is because Dennis was trying to get members. I did not even live here then. I did not move back until 2005, the end of 2005. But Dennis called in family favors, and my sister and I Mary Lou and I both joined. And by the time I came, there were a good 7 or 8 people there, and we started making plans. And we started trying to plan for events. We were very poor. We did whatever we had to do, but when Beverly's centennial came up, or what was it, 150th? We planned a series of programs at their 150th. By 2007, we sponsored a Civil War camp reenactment. We had an illustrated lecture from the author William Hughes, who wrote a book about the Civil War hospital that was here in Beverly. We actually had Paul Shop come in and talk about all the Beverly businesses that were here at that time. And at that point, we just started going. We started using the Cooper Meeting House as our headquarters. But we collected more and more things. Those of you who knew and loved Dennis will know that he was a pack rat, to put it mildly. And having the Historical Society, he had the place of his dreams. He collected anything and everything. And if you please come to our museum, we would love to show you some of it. At that point, we started branching out. We started going to the Delanco Community Day, the Beverly Community Days, Edgewater Park Community Days. We started trying to have events. We had David Giannetto come in and talk about his decoys. We had other people come in and do events. At that point, we still had very little money, and people were saying things, well, we can have a plant sale, and we were like, you have to buy the plants first. Until June McPherson and I, may she rest in peace, I still miss her dearly, had the idea that the most expensive plants to buy for real gardeners are perennials. And we all gardened in my family, and so did June. And what we did is perennials have to be divided every year or every couple of years. And we decided to have a perennial plant sale, and every single plant came from our yards. And June and I went around digging stuff up. And the first year, I thought we weren't going to have much. June showed up with 20 shopping bags full of hostas because she decided she wanted to get rid of them. But we had a successful plant sale. The first year, I think we made $109, if that.
That's good.
But it started the tradition, which I still carry on now, and it's very different from what it was. I have a list of people that help me and have a huge perennial, right now it's pretty unkempt, but a perennial garden myself. My sister donates plants. Juliana from the library donates a lot of plants. We work together on this, and I start potting in the fall of the year before. I already have pots ready for next year. And it has become an annual event. It's always the first Saturday in May, coincides with our open house, and we split the proceeds with the library. We didn't used to, but we do now because we're here. Those are some of the things we started doing. Last year, we sold about 400 plants. So it became that. But then we started thinking we needed to do more educational programs. And back then, in 2010, nobody was celebrating Juneteenth in the area. We did. Audrey Henry, who a lot of you may have known, Mrs. Henry, her mom. Audrey Henry and I started planning and doing a series of events, and we wrote grants for them. Some of them were a celebration of history through music and poetry and prose. We had Donna McDaniel, an author, who came in about a community discussion of race and religion. The next year, we had a conversation with Tuskegee Airmen, and they actually were here. The next year, we had the person that wrote African Americans in the Gettysburg Campaign. We had a lot of them. One of my favorites was Alice of Dunk's Ferry, which was which was really educational, and you didn't even realize it was right here in our backyard. We had Heroic Women of the Civil Rights. We had the Quakers come in. We had something that I never knew before, which is that people always think of the South and slavery. What they don't realize that there were places in the North made a bunch of money from it and didn't want it to end either. And one of them was a family from Rhode Island, and their descendants had written a book, kind of like Atonement, and they came in and talked about it too. Wow. You don't think about it, but somebody built those ships, somebody made those chains, and it was done in the North. One of my other favorites is the Ropes and Song book, where we had Keith Spencer, who's a really famous singer, come in and do a concert for us. That was incredible. And then we finally had Guy Weston come in from Timbuktu, and that was an amazing talk too. And I accidentally helped found the fund that they've used now to buy land back, but that's another story. There were several others, but we ended it a few years ago because we realized we were competing with everyone else now because suddenly everyone was doing it. And our little town couldn't compete with that. But we got it started, and we're proud of that. Then we tried to make sure that we always use a handicap accessible venue. So we couldn't really have things at Coopertown that much other than the beginning of the house tour. But that's another thing we brought back. Every other year we do a holiday house tour. And I'm saying that now because I want to remind you all to get your tickets as soon as I have them printed. Because it's this year, it will be December 6th. And I don't know all the houses on it, but I already know that the Episcopal Chapel and Monument Cemetery Chapel will be on it. By 2014, we realized we were outgrowing Coopertown Meeting House. It didn't have any heat other than that huge coal stove. And we had reached a point where we had some things that were rare and needed better care climate-wise. And after some talks, the library invited us to use that building. And the plan was that we would fix it up and keep maintaining it. So that's what we did. We helped put a new roof on it, we helped clean it out, and that's where the museum is now. We're downstairs, there's still the apartment upstairs, and we also put things in the basement. Way too many at this point. One of our members was a contractor at the time, and he did a lot of work for us. And we moved into, our first open house there was in February of 2016. We were really excited because it was the first time it felt like a real museum. In that time since, we've actually added air conditioning and had blue lighting put in. And then we didn't do a whole lot for a while, just a few things. But this year, if you go to the museum on the first Saturday of the month, next month, you won't be allowed in the back room because we've cleared it out. Once I get the permit process done, that bathroom is finally going to be updated to an ADA compliant bathroom that you can get in and out of easier. And that's not just for people in wheelchairs, there are people like me that have trouble with it. So we are working towards that. Our long-term goals are to try to do archiving. We still want to do special events. We've tried to do a few. The plant sale is an annual thing. The holiday house tour is a semi-annual thing. The problem is the pandemic really slowed us down. We used to have up to 20 people coming into open houses. We actually created a conversation area for them. After the pandemic, that changed. We lost a lot of members. We lost a lot of our regular visitors, and we're slowly building up from that. So that was one of the hardest things to happen. The second was a year and a few months ago when Dennis very suddenly passed away. It shocked a lot of people, family, so I can say that it very much shocked us. And we received a lot of questions from people who said, what's going to happen now, not realizing that Dennis was president, but I had been his vice president for a long time. Teresa had been treasurer even longer. There was always a core group of people running it, and we're still doing so. We're going to keep the legacy alive.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. You've been in, I know, I appreciate that. We started trying to do more things again. I admit I instituted a few changes. Not all of them were happy. Some of them were kicking and screaming, but we have a grant and a new laptop, and we are actually creating a digital collection, archiving every single thing we have. It will take us years. Years. But if anything happens to me, if anything happens to Bobby, if anything happens to Teresa, we already know what happened with Dennis. There's a lot of things in there that we don't know where they came from because he never wrote it down.
Well, he did, but it's in his computer, and we're not.
We can't get into his computer. So we've lost a lot of our records, so we have to recreate them. And I said, if anything happens to me, I don't want it to be in my computer. I don't want it to be in anybody else's. So we have a laptop, and we have an account with something called Past Perfect software. It's museum quality software, and it's used by a lot of the historical societies around here, and it can tie in with the county lyceum software.
Good.
So eventually, we will hope to have a website up and running and be able to post some of this online, because we have some great things that would actually be good for people that are doing research, and they don't even know we have it. So that's one of the first projects we had. We're not even sure what we have yet. We're still finding things like,
Wow.
but the other thing is we're starting to try to change things around, because it occurred to me that when you walk in the door, sometimes it's a little overwhelming. It's crowded with things, and it would be nice to sort through things, get rid of the things that aren't Beverly, Edgewater Park, and Delanco. And when I say get rid of, I don't mean we're throwing them away. I've taken boxes of gifts to other historical societies, and so have other members. But what we want to do is cull the collection down so it's not so overwhelming, and change things around a little so it doesn't look the same every time you come in. And we've already started that process, though most people don't realize it yet. We already have the bathroom project. There's a 5-year plan there that we want to make the inside with ramps so that you can go in and around without the steps to go up into the back. We will need to redo the back door, and we'll probably put a ramp in the back as well, because you can get in the front with a wheelchair, but you can't get in the back. We also would like to redo the back windows, and the flooring in the back room. But those are all things that'll take us some time to do because they're expensive, and that's our way of paying rent to the library to actually maintain and upgrade the building. We are going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year. And to do so, we've decided it's time that we start gearing up for some big time events. So we have a series of events planned. We'll start a little early because the Holiday House Tour will be December 6th. And this is the first time I'm announcing this, but on February 28th, we will be hosting the County Lyceum. Marissa Bozarth, the curator and historian there, will be coming to Beverly to do the county presentation of Revolutionary War and Burlington County. And if everything goes well, I talked to Joan today, it will be at the vestry meeting on Sunday. It will be at the Episcopal Church, because they have parking and a handicap facility.
Wow.
And they can hold enough people. So that will be our first event next year. After that, we have a series of events. We'll still do our annual plant sale. We're going to do an antique appraisal. We used to do that all the time. It was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite things. Our original appraiser died, but we've had other people come in since then, and it is a lot of fun. If you like Antique Roadshow, people used to come in because it's free for entry. You only pay if you're going to have something appraised. People would come in and buy a sandwich, because we always had it when the church was selling something, and they would sit there and just watch it like they were watching the show. It's fun.
So neat just to see what the things people bring.
And people don't realize what they have until they look.
That's true. Used to ring a bell. It was a good thing. It would ring a bell. Yeah.
What? Yeah, it was Carol's bell, wasn't it?
I think so.
She had Carol Donahue, who is no longer here. She moved. I wish she were here. She'd be sitting up here. But she had an old original railroad bell, and she brought it to be appraised, and he just loved it. And so she brought it every year, and when there was something that was really striking or more expensive or more valuable than we realized, he would ring the bell, and everybody would stop what he was doing and pay attention. It was fun. So we want to bring something like that back.
What was the most expensive item that they've had?
Okay, I remember one that has stayed in my mind ever since. There was a family somewhere in Edgewater Park up on the riverbank, and the parents were very, very elderly and had to go into a nursing home, and they were worried about money. And they were cleaning out the house, and they found a painting, and they brought the painting in, and it was dirty, and it was old. But they brought the painting in just in case. And it turned out to be extremely valuable. It was dirty, and it would need to be professionally cleaned. He said, "Don't you touch it."
Yeah.
I don't remember who the artist was. It was something that was done probably in the late 1800s.
Wow.
It was an American artist, and he actually helped them get in touch with Sotheby's to sell it.
Wow.
And it was the answer to a prayer for that family.
Wow.
I believe that he estimated it would be worth anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 at the minimum. And that was my favorite thing that ever happened there.
That's wonderful.
That, and I found out a toy typewriter that I inherited from my friend Sheila is actually worth about $800.
There you go.
It's still sitting in my house. I won't part with it, but
Don't spill coffee on it.
so that's one of the things we want to bring back. After that, we will probably have the plant sale in May. In June, it will be Community Day in Edgewater Park on a Saturday, and on a Sunday, it will be a celebration of the Revolutionary War and our 250th year as a country in Mount Holly with a lyceum, and we will be taking part in that. All happening in June. Sometime in the summer, we haven't set a date, we would like to have a birthday party. We're turning 50. We're going to invite the town. We're going to have ice cream and cake for kids. We're going to invite everybody else that's turning 50 to come celebrate us with us.
That's cool.
There will be light refreshments and cake and ice cream. And while we're having the party, we have the video from 1941 that we will be showing on a loop through the party. And we just received a remarkable donation from Richard Costin. We will also show a small video that is actually of Beverly's Centennial Parade in 1957. And it shows the parade on Cooper Street. And it's not a very long video, but it's genuine. We were actually thrilled to get that.
That's great.
So we will be showing those. And if you'll notice in my column in the Beverly Bee, I've asked for more videos. If anybody has videos of events around town, we would love to have them. We'll get a copy of them, and we will eventually add that to our archives as well. And so that's one of our events. That's the birthday party. The next event will probably be an art show, but it's a reverse art show. We were recently gifted, thank you, Bev. I wasn't sure what to do with it all at first. Bev received from long ago, Beverly resident. Apparently there was an art class in town, and a lot of people that were citizens in town attended the class and did paintings and signed them. And some of them were rather prominent citizens for back then. And Bev had paintings and gifted them to us. Well, they're not, some of them are nice, some of them aren't. It's an art class. But we thought, let's have an art show and pick out the prominent citizens and show the art, but talk about the person that painted it.
Yes. Wow.
And that struck a chord with people because Richard again came in with a beautiful painting that his grandmother did this past time. So we have some artwork to do, and that's going to be our reverse art show.
So
We're
we have
kind-
these for sale.
I don't think that I would want to sell them, but because they belong to other people. But
Oh, they're not yours.
they're not. Well, they were
They're not-
donated to
they're-
us.
They're
They were donated to us, and I think it'll
for the
depend.
historical.
Yeah, they
Oh,
were
I get it.
donated to
I
the
get it.
Historical Society. But it would still be very nice for people to see because we want to talk about the citizens,
Sure,
not so much the art. Though some of the art might not be bad.
that's cool.
So we thought that would be a fun way to talk about citizens in the past. Because it's a lot of people, the older people, remember when Mr. Stratton lived here. Remember when Mayor Costello was here. Remember all of those people. Remember when my Uncle Luther was the plumber and helped found the Beverly Sewerage Authority, Luther Smith. They remember people like that. And there's some of these paintings are from people like that, or their wives.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's one of our other events we're going to have.
Good idea.
And then I kept looking at those paintings and thinking, what can we do with them? They have to be good. And I looked at some of the names and I thought, well, this is a good idea.
It is.
And I talked it over with Marissa over at the county, and she said, yeah, I don't think that's ever been done. That's a good idea. So,
Great.
and then the last event we're going to have next year is going to be a genealogy workshop. Kathy Karn, if any of you know her, is extremely well-versed in genealogy. She's the go-to person for us and for a lot of people in the area. Barbara Kelly also is pretty good with it. We thought we could have them do a talk about different ways, because most people don't realize there are a lot of public ways easy ways to research your ancestry, but you don't know where to start.
Yes.
We're going to show you how. We're going to have a workshop for that. So those are the events we're hoping to have to celebrate our 50th anniversary.
I just want to say, Kathy Korn figured out that
Yeah, we're all cousins.
Dennis, Teresa, and Charlene, our fourth great grandmother, is the same person.
Oh, yes. I've always said when you live in Beverly, you're related to almost everybody. And it's really true. But I didn't.
That would include Jean too, right?
That would include, well, I think that would include Jeannie,
Yes.
because it's on the Rogers side.
We're related.
And on my mother's side, I'm related to a whole different group of people. There's my mom back there.
Well, my three girls, when they were little, they said they couldn't be bad because I was on the corner of the road.
We couldn't go anywhere we'd get in trouble and not get told one. But
Kathy is very good looking that stuff up. She doesn't really know, sit there sometimes.
And she tells you,
Who, what their name was, when they were born, when they got baptized, when they died, and she was
knows how to
on and
find
on,
the
you know.
public records.
And but she's helped me and my cousin Jeannie, whose name is Watts. Both of us, different relatives going back, and it helped me a lot to figure out who I'm related to, where my DNA came from, and when we found out that Dennis was my cousin, Dennis couldn't believe it. He goes, "No way, no way!" I said, "It's right here." Ann Smith, she was my great grandfather's mother-in-law, and it was was both our fourth great grandmother.
Yeah.
And
Lived in Beverly.
Let me tell them about Kathy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
A couple of weeks ago, Kathy, before it was out of my head again, Kathy Korn came to the open house and she had a binder full of Van Sciver family things, and we put it out that she would be there if people wanted to talk to her about Van Scivers, and a couple people came in, sat there and talked with her about it. But she does have a lot of historical and stuff. She's been doing that for a long time. She just loves it. She goes to the state archives all the time.
She can tell anybody how to do it.
Yes, question.
What month are you doing the genealogy?
We were thinking about October or November. But October's hard because we will probably try to do the art show in September, late September. October, we will still be, in fact, we're doing it this October too. Edgewater Park has an event called Dark in the Park. Last year was the first year we took part in it. It was wildly successful and it looked like a lot of fun. That's Noreen's babies. She wrote scripts with help from members, and we had people dress up as different characters, but they were ghosts. But they could talk about their lives, but they were all local ghosts. So there were people like Colonel Grubb and farmers and Barney Schultz.
Barney Schultz's grandson came and gave the speech for Barney.
Yes, he played the part.
He wore his World Series ring.
So that we will be doing every year from now on too. We're planning it for this year already.
If you haven't thought of it already, would you put in the Beverly Bee, because I always read your column, keep the date or save the date?
I've been
for everything that
Once I have dates for everything, I don't have definite dates for anything for next year except for the February event, because I just made sure to confirm that with
maybe you
Marissa.
can say we're thinking of, we're
But-
planning, but don't have a date yet.
Yeah.
I will probably be doing that soon. Right now,
Good.
I'm kind of concentrating on trying to get people for the house tour.
Hmm.
But yes, that will be in the next column probably.
We'll have this.
In October, it will be my regular column because it's already turned in. By November, I will be pumping this.
Cool.
And to answer Cynthia's question, I was hoping to do the genealogy in November because December is just too busy with
Crazy,
Christmas
yeah.
things, and we don't like to compete with the churches unless we can help them.
Cynthia, when she comes, she picks dates to come here
Yeah,
on Saturdays. I will let you know when I know she's going to be here.
yeah, but she comes to our open houses a lot.
She will let us know ahead of time that she's going to be there.
Please do.
And sometimes, well, like the Van Skivers, there was people asking about it, so she did that. But
She
loves
She's
to do
good.
it. She just loves it.
She absolutely loves it.
Great.
The only reason she hasn't been around lately is there was a medical issue with her family, and she has a brand new baby in the family. So she's been posting lots of pictures, and she's spending time with somebody that's been ill.
Sure.
But I talked to her. I said, "You still want to do this, right? It's not until next year." She goes, "Oh yeah."
That's good. Wonderful.
And then she sent me pictures of babies.
There you go.
So cute.
So,
Great.
but those are the things we have planned. I know I've skipped over a lot of things, but is there anybody that has any questions?
I have one comment. And as far as reference, our library, or I don't know, call it
Oh, I didn't
library.
even talk about the reference room, yeah.
The reference room has a whole lot of things to look up. One day I was there, open house, and Dennis goes, "Go help them two ladies." And I said, "Oh, what do they want?" Here they were looking for how many houses were on 2nd Street in a certain year. And we got out some maps, and then I got on the computer and did some. And I asked them, "What are you guys doing?" You know? Well, they were trying to figure out where the gentleman who drove a car for somebody in Delanco lived. And I'm going like, what was his name? I forget. But anyways, we pretty much figured out where. But that year there was like 12 houses on 2nd Street. That's it. And we used some maps that I forget the name of them. Some guy did it. Princeton University has them in there. So I asked them who they were. One lady was from Delanco. The other one was a professor at was it Ryder or no, the school that Brooke went to.
Seton Hall.
Seton Hall. She was a professor at Seton Hall trying to figure out, help this woman figure out where this guy lived in Beverly. And we pretty much got the right.
And narrow it down.
It was the houses that were knocked down for Delico homes. And that's where there was 4 or 5 that we didn't know about. And then a couple years later, they were tore down to make way for the Delico homes. But she got her answer, and she was happy. And I couldn't print anything. We're not that far advanced as far as our computer over there.
We're still working on infrastructure.
But she took pictures of it, and she says, "This is great. I'll be able to print it out and show everybody." But that was the professor that was doing that. I was like really happy.
So cool.
I do want to mention the reference room. I keep forgetting
She wanted to know
about
where
that.
it was. The gentleman, the African American gentleman that drove a car for one. I don't know, somebody in Delanco,
It was like
and
a chauffeur.
and their Juneteenth was all about him.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, their Juneteenth was
Did
about
he
this
work
one
for
gentleman.
Zerbo?
I think he worked for Zerbo. He must have drove Zerbo around.
Okay.
But they wanted to know where he came from. Well, he lived in Beverly. It was not, and she goes, "Well, it's not this far away from Delanco." I said, "Yeah, it's right there." The lady from Seton Hall was amazed at how close it was, and she was amazed that we knew so much about our town, and the maps. I mean, the maps show everything. Is it Sanborn maps?
Yeah.
Sanborn maps. There was on Cooper Street. I was in the museum one day, and a guy from public service came in and says, "Do you know there was a bakery down on Cooper Street next to Dominic's?" And I said, "No, it was a bread bakery. The whole oven is still in the basement. It goes across the whole back of it, a brick oven. They baked it there and they sold it upstairs." was next to where your dad had his
I was bus.
buses. Yeah,
And who lived that? That lady lived there.
yeah. Frank and
Hannah.
yeah.
Something. Right.
And but I never knew it was there. He goes, I couldn't believe it. He was down there checking the gas lines when they were redoing everything, and he goes, it's huge, the whole width of the whole house. On the sandbar maps, it has it right there, oven, brick oven, on on that property in that house. But they have, we were sitting there counting numbers, and the numbers were different then than now. In other words, I guess when the post office started redoing stuff, it wasn't the 100 block was. It wasn't. It starts now. What 200? What's the first block?
First block would be 100.
But it's
Or
not-
did they have
It's not 100. It goes by.
like 67 instead of?
They changed it from word up further and then this way. So it's like 300 and 400 and 500 and 600.
400 comes after Warren Street.
I'm going from along the river.
Oh, that way.
Yeah, so
Get
it's like
confused on that one.
it was 200 is the block, and then 300 starts at 300. But the maps we were looking at, it started at 100. That's what messed her up. But she never saw the maps before that we had. We got some of the big ones out for her, and then we did the Sanborn maps, which was give her a better idea. But we have.
There's a lot of neat stuff there.
We can look up any, a whole lot of different things. We have books. We have, I don't want to say, a lot of Civil War items. Beverly was a Civil War town headquarters, and they put in the hospital took over the building where the rope company was, and they threw them all out, and then that was the hospital. But we have books on that. The first section of the cemetery, section number 1, right in front of the house, were all people who either died at the hospital or died on the way here. There's no other ones in there except for that. They all were put in there. Section 2 then were like early deaths after the war. Back then, I don't know how medical staff did it, but they did what they could. When they were closing the hospital, there was like, what did they say? There was like 50 some people left, and they just said, "Okay, you have to leave."
Except for their family.
Yeah. They were closing it up, and they weren't going to take care of them anymore. I'm like, wow, that's like leaving. These are all soldiers that got hurt.
John?
You also have an extensive collection of high school yearbooks.
Yes, that's one of the things.
It doesn't go back to the Civil War.
No, but it goes back to
Early
A lot of
early
people
1900s.
who are children or nieces and nephews and so on that can look up information in the yearbooks. And you have Palmyra, Burlington City,
Palmyra, Burlington City, some Holy Cross,
and Holy Cross. Okay.
and those are the main ones because Beverly and Edgewater Park students went to Burlington for quite some time, and then Beverly went to Palmyra. And we also have some Riverside for Delanco people.
Oh, okay.
Because Delanco goes to Riverside. We started collecting them when people didn't know quite what to do with them, but some of them are really old.
So neat to say.
It's really, and what's fun to see the ones in the Depression that are paperback because they couldn't afford a regular book. The ones during World War II are kind of heartbreaking because there's whole pages of people that had left and went into the service before graduation. So some of them are really, really something to see. We also have a huge, people don't know what to do with their family photo albums or all their memorabilia from families. The kids don't want it. They hand it to us. What we do is we'll make a book. We have a book on the Outrick family. We have a book on this family. We have a book on that family. And we're at the point where we scavenge, binders to create books and stash them down the cellar and bring them upstairs and just start making more and more books. We have books on the churches. We have books on the fire companies. We have a lot of stuff from the fire companies. We have a lot of stuff from the emergency squad, may it rest in
Farnham
peace.
School.
We have a lot of stuff from Farnham School. I think there's a picture that I absolutely love of my grandmother in a class picture. And you got to figure it's pretty early, it's very early 1900s. And she was Hazel Smith then, and then she became Hazel Rogers. She was very smart, and she was 2 years ahead in her she got skipped 2 grades. So she's sitting in a chair in the front row with all these other kids, and she's so much smaller than them, her feet don't touch the floor. It's one of my favorite pictures. I have another one of my mom's older brother that in Farnham School, and he's easily the tallest person in there. He's just looming over the back. Uncle Buddy's there. So we have a lot of great things. If you want to find out more about your family, or if somebody's coming here whose family was from here, we can show them their high school picture. And coincidentally, what people wrote about them. So yeah, that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, myself and my 3 sisters and my brother, we all went to Farnham School.
That's right. So we have all of these things there. So you can do a lot of research in our area. We have those maps. We have a lot of old house deeds that we're still processing, and some of them are from the 1800s. People just give us stuff, and we're like, okay, we'll figure it out.
That's right, and you do something with it, and you do.
But we're really working hard to come back from the pandemic. We're really working hard to be more viable. We're really working hard to try to draw a younger audience and to get new members, because I'm 71. We can't continue to do this. We need some people to start thinking about taking over. And Teresa's laughing because she sat across from me in kindergarten, so she's not. That's how long we've been friends. But we're an older group over there. We need some younger people to come in. It's a lot of work to do this. Noreen and Ray came in last year. God, thank God. I will freely admit, I'll say, that sounds like a great idea, Noreen. You go for it. I believe in delegating.
The Dark in the Park?
Yes, please.
Okay, so last year, I was on the Centennial Committee. I'm from Edgewater Park. I grew up in Edgewater Park. So did you, right? Ray and I both grew up in Edgewater. And I was on the board of the Centennial Committee, and my son's an attorney in Denver, and I went to visit him. And we went to a museum, and they had a display on 100 objects from Colorado history, and I was like, that's it, 100 objects from Edgewater Park history. So I had already been connected with Dennis, who knows my older sister, and my other sister's friends with Dennis's sister, Karen Rogers. So I kind of knew Dennis Rogers. And anyway, I spent a whole year with Dennis, Teresa, and Bob coming up with 100 objects from Edgewater Park history. And it really wasn't that easy because, Beverly has such a rich history. Edgewater was largely a rich people's playground, and then like a bedroom community. Once the farmers after World War II, they sold their land, and it became a lot of housing. So anyway, we put that on. That was a huge bridge between Beverly and Edgewater Park, and it really a lot of people found out about people who maybe came here and went to the library but didn't necessarily go to the museum, to the society. Yes. They were aware of it. And Dennis and Bob and Teresa were invaluable because I would research something and say, is this right? And they'd be like, no, it's this. so that was...
She was meticulous.
So that was, and everything we took, thank you, everything we took out. I'm a former reporter, so I, had to do that kind of stuff. But,
we better take it all out, too. Take it out there.
I had to sign out. Dennis was like a lunatic. Like I had to sign everything out, and I was really good about returning because, we all know what it's like when people don't return your things. You're like, what? So anyway, we thought it was pretty successful. I mean, remember that day? I mean, Mary Kay Howard on Franklin Avenue, she was in charge of the military display and sports. And Dennis and I did, like, you know, all the other categories. And the Giaquinos came. They're probably some of Edgewater's most famous people. It was pretty successful. But anyway, as part of that, Dark in the Park was then in October, and I don't even remember how it started, but we decided to have little skits of famous people from Edgewater, Beverly, and Delanco, although Delanco's we need to up Delanco's presence here. So we did it last year. Ray played Colonel Grubb from Beverly, the Civil War colonel who, after he retired, he had tons of parties for his men at his estate in Beverly. Right? It was Edgewater Park? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
River Mansions.
Oh, okay. And that, so yeah, it burned down, that's right. And so that was very successful. Ray has like this great costume, and I bought him some like lamb chops for his face. And my husband Kenny, who is an ex-Navy man, he played the unknown soldier representing Beverly National Cemetery and Monument. We hope to put a little bit more in there this year because they're both reprising their roles this year. So I wrote a script, like as usual, like 2 pages, too much. And this year it'll be a lot shorter. But they literally came in costume. Mary Kay Howard made them look like ghosts, put white paint on them. Who else? We had Mr. Kime.
Yeah.
Kime Boulevard, when you come off the Burlington-Bristol Bridge, is named after Mr. Kime, and so is the street in Edgewater. He was a gentleman who was kind of the Donald Trump of his time, but the person playing his character said, I am not saying that in public. I don't want to be beat up. I'm like, okay, don't say that. But he was the gentleman who got the funding for the Burlington-Bristol Bridge and got it built in 1929. So that was pretty, and he also was in on the ground floor with the American store, the Acme, and they believe he helped coin that term. But anyway, so that's something you would hear if you came to Dark in the Park. So that gentleman is coming back, and he just wears like a monocle and like has a business suit. And
I didn't get somebody to play Dennis.
Yeah, so this year, so we had a sports person last year. We had Barney Schultz. Paul is a friend of mine, but Paul was indisposed. So we got a grandson, and he came and he said his uniform is packed in plastic. Is it okay if I just wear this jersey? I'm like, sure. I didn't want him to rip open his granddad's stuff. And he had the ring, and he read the script about his dad. So we were going to do Mr. Calderon this year, but Sammy just passed, his son, and we just think it's too soon. So we're not going to do that. But so this year, we had Linda Raymond and her husband were amazing as Mr. and Mrs. Shipman. And Shipman was a journalist in Kentucky who had lots of money, and he bought his wife this had a mansion built, which is now the Red Dragon Canoe Club. That building was a mansion built for his bride. So, of course, Linda had like the most fabulous outfit, and her husband with the long beard, they were the Shipmans, and so it was really fun. So this year we have Father Ed Atzert, who is the first priest from Beverly. He was ordained in Trenton and was from St. Joe's, and that he's a relative of Teresa and Bob's.
Our mom's cousin, mom's first cousin.
Yeah. So
he's the first man to be a priest from St. Joe's Parish. There was another one afterwards, but he's not a priest anymore.
Right, and he's still alive.
Yeah.
So we can't have him be a ghost.
Yeah.
So so this year we have Father Ed Atzert, Colonel Grubb, Mr. Kine, a farmer. I'm trying to introduce a farmer, and I have because there were so many farmers in Edgewater, and this person would represent the Versakis, the Heels, the Martyrs, like all the well-known farming. Van Skivers, are they farmers? Who?
Adams had a beech orchard.
Adams, okay. You might have to read what I write then. And, so when I write them, I give them to these people who know what they're talking about. I research it, and then they read it and say, no, that's wrong, or fix this, or,
we don't know everything, but we look it up.
Crab farmers, and you had the Hill farmers out there too.
Hills.
John Hill,
Right.
they built all the houses out there. He owned that as a farm. And when Edgewater Park decided to buy all that ground, he put ground in Burlington Township and did his farming there afterwards. His name was John Hill. He had a farm with Saki's.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how this guy.
Where Versace's is now?
And he had a farm where the liquor store is. But Jack's mother made him keep 2 acres and keep the house there. They used to be a farm.
That's right, and the Farmers Cooperative on the
co-op
border.
around when I was a kid.
I got lost in the cornfield out there when we were playing hide and seek. all the
Hey,
town
Mom, you're up
there.
there.
And so we probably have asked almost 10 people now. We're looking for Alice of Dunk's Ferry, and we keep striking out. I did find someone who will do it next year.
And let's wait.
So she's a great person. She's from St. Paul's in Burlington. So in place of her, we're either going to do someone from Delanco, like if there's a silversmith. There's a couple people. We'll talk about it at our meeting in October if you don't mind. Or Mildred McGowan, just to get a female presence because we have all these men. I mean, which is great, but we need the other half of the population to try to be represented. Yeah.
Where do you hold this?
Oh, it's at Dark in the Park, which is a celebration.
Where?
This year it's at Memorial Field,
Okay.
Stewart's Field, and you just walk through. And last year the kids, so I have these little tombstones from the dollar store with the names of the characters. So the kids would come up in costume. They would see our candy. That was the lure. And they would say, "What's this?" And there was Teresa gave me a big bell, and I said, "Well, read these names. Which of these ghosts do you want to talk to?" And they would ring the bell to get our attention. We had a tent, so all our people were sitting on chairs.
Cool.
So the kids would say, "I want to talk to Colonel Grubb," and then Ray would get up with his script because who's going to memorize all that? And
I didn't.
he did memorize it.
What I recall, you memorized.
And we went through a tote of candy, but hey, it was a way to get young people interested in their own history. Because I tried to bring it into the school, but Dr. R, before he left, because they have a new superintendent, he said the state, these teachers submit their curriculum early, and they have to adhere to it, and then to suspend it, then they have to play catch up, so I don't think it's really going to happen. So we had to find a different way to try to make this. So we're going to make a little book of what we do, of the little skits, and keep it at the Historical Society so people can reflect on that as well at some point.
And we won the trophy for
Yeah.
best exhibit.
So if anyone has an idea for a character,
Maggie does.
Okay, what is it?
I got inspired.
Okay.
Sitting here, she got inspired.
I love it. What is it?
Elaine Curtin.
For Curtin's Marina?
No, she was a librarian.
Elaine
She was a librarian here for many years. Yeah.
Oh, great.
And she has 3 daughters, and one of them probably would love.
I was going to say, talk to Katie Cotty and see if one of them wants to do it.
So it's Elaine Curtin.
Spelled the same way as the.
Yeah, her name's on the bench right outside.
Oh, okay, I've seen it.
Her husband owned Curtin Marina. Yeah.
Okay, and she was the librarian here for years.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Her mother-in-law was a librarian before.
And her mother-in-law was as well.
Yes.
The librarian.
Years before that, her mother-in-law was one.
And they say she wants.
It's a great idea.
I think they
Wants the
both.
library. Ooh, I love it.
Their mother-in-law.
You have to get kids involved with macabre, something scary.
Right.
And then they'll pay attention.
No, exactly.
Thank you, Maggie. Great idea. But anybody else, keep thinking. If you have ideas, give them to Teresa or Bob or Charlene or Ray or myself. Thank you.
Well, it's 7:30.
Yep.
We want to honor our time. We've tried to keep it to an hour. But if people want to hang around, the library's open. Thanks to all of you who have